You're welcome to Logos Aflame Daily Devotional Podcast. Be blessed as you listen.
September 11th. Today's topic is God strengthens us in our weaknesses. One would imagine that Paul, as respected as he is in the faith, will have been perfect. He was a man who walked with God, saw many revelations, and in 2 Corinthians 12 verse 2, wrote that he was caught up into the third heavens. As an apostle of the gospel, God had sent him to the Gentiles to preach salvation and redemption. Through him, God performed several signs and wonders and brought deliverance to a great number of people. Till date, we still read his writings to edify ourselves and the body of Christ. Despite these impressive achievements, Paul admitted that he had a weakness. He called it a thorn in the flesh. What is interesting is that he asked God to take it away. Instead of answering that prayer, God only assured him that his grace was more than enough to sustain Paul. This gave Paul the strength to glory in his weaknesses. It kept him humble and constantly dependent on God's grace. He drew strength from the abundant power of God. Like Paul, we all have our vulnerable parts, the weaknesses that we try to hide from others. We even try to hide our vulnerabilities from God because we are ashamed of those parts of us. Sometimes we refuse to acknowledge that those weaknesses even exist. But the good news that Paul speaks about in 2 Corinthians 12 is that we need not hide anymore. In fact, the more we hide, the more these weaknesses get more control over us, so that we find ourselves more and more overpowered by them. God invites us to draw strength from His grace. God's grace empowers us and helps us to gain freedom. The weaknesses may not go away, but the more we are weak, the more God's grace abounds. And He said to me, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in weakness." 2 Corinthians 12 verse 9. God offers His grace freely to us. He offers us His strength. Are we willing to accept His offer or go on beating ourselves up in shame? Practical reflections. 1. What are my weaknesses? Am I hiding from them? 2. Will I receive God's grace or continue to try and defeat my weaknesses with my own strength? Our Bible reading is from Isaiah 8:1 through 9:21, 2 Corinthians 12 1-10, Psalm 55 1-23, Proverbs 23 4-5. Our memory verse is from 2 Corinthians 12 verse 10, using the New King James Version. Therefore, I take pleasure in infirmities, in reproaches, in need, in persecution, in distresses for Christ's sake. For when I am weak, then I am strong.
We would love to hear from you. Please send your messages and prayer requests to our email, office@logosoflameministries.org, or visit our Facebook page, Logos of Flame Ministries, and drop a message. God bless.